Hey everybody, and away we go on another episode of the Hilltop Sports Report. This is episode 4, and I'm your host, Jumpin Jack Carlson. We've got a basketball-focused show today with Madison Wauters stopping by from the Cornell women's basketball team, and Jordan Magnani, the second all-time leading scorer in Cornell Rams men's basketball history. He will stop by as well. Without further ado, it's time to hit the music and start another episode of the Hilltop Sports Report.
Let's go Rams! Let's go Rams!
We begin today's show with the 6'3" center from Winterset, Iowa, Madison Wauters. So let's hear from Madison right now. And I'm pleased to be joined inside the Academic Technology Studio by senior center on the Cornell women's basketball team, Madison Wauters. First of all, Madison, thank you so much for stopping by this afternoon.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
All right, so getting to our first question, the Rams were busy this past weekend playing on both Friday and Saturday. It was a tough loss against a really good Ripon Redhawks team on Friday, but you bounced back. You got the win on Saturday against Lawrence. So what are your takeaways from the competitions? And by the way, the Saturday win over Lawrence vaulted the Rams into the Midwest Conference postseason tournament, so a great honor for the team to clinch that. So what are your takeaways from the competitions this past weekend?
Yeah, well, on Friday, it was a really tough loss. We could not make shots, sadly, but we did put full forth effort and sadly did not get the win there. And then on Saturday, we all came together as a team and really just worked together. It was really great to have Rachel Adewusi back. She's been out for the season, so having her debut back and giving that win for MWC conference tournament berth was really nice.
Well, that's great. So that's what we are currently. And so let's go back. What initially inspired you to become a basketball player? Because there's always a moment for each player where you say, you know what, I really want to pursue basketball in high school or even at the college level. So when was that moment for you?
So I was not really ever serious about basketball. When I was little, I was a big softball player for years until I moved to Iowa. I'm originally from Alabama. So just coming back to Iowa, which is a really big basketball place, and I was 6 foot at a really young age, so coaches at Winterset just really wanted to push me to basketball, so started really honing down on basketball and developing my skills more. And then starting AAU and being around a lot of other basketball players, I was like, you know what, I think I really want to pursue basketball. It was until like my 8th grade year when I was like really deciding whether to pursue basketball or softball for college. I made the decision to pursue basketball.
And that's great. So how did you develop your skills as a center? You mentioned that you grew to be 6 foot at a young age. How did you develop your skills and kind of become the force that you are in the Midwest Conference, one of the best centers in the conference?
Yeah, so with my softball background, I think is where like my hands really come into play. I know centers are really not known to be the most coordinated sometimes, so having that hand-eye coordination really helped me with softball. But then my trainers that I had in high school with both my AAU teams that I played for really just transformed my game completely. They really focused on my footwork and how my craftiness down low is really all thanks to them. I've had a lot of really good trainers in my past.
What do you think is the key to your success as a center? Obviously, you have all these things going on. You got to set screens. You got to be a force down low. So what is it you think is the key to your success?
Of course, my size is a big thing, but I think with my size and probably how well I move as a center and my craftiness down low and my shot, I think I've really worked on to not just be one dribble layup type of person, to be able to make a mid-range jumper or make a couple of dribble moves to get underneath the basket is where I really forced myself to be developed.
And along those same lines, you're really good at the free throw line. Have you identified one particular thing? Is it, a mental trick that you do? How are you so good at the free throw line?
So I used to not be. Actually, my high school coach came to the Grinnell game, and he's like, where was this in high school? Because I was like a 50% free throw shooter in high school. So I think I just really developed, I do form shooting all the time, and I developed my 3 dribble, and then I take a really big breath, and then look at the basket and shoot it. So I just think my rhythm now is a lot better, and then my form too.
So it's all about that routine.
Yes.
I got you. All right. So what advice would you give to young basketball players who aspire to play center? Obviously, you've achieved this at the highest level in Division III. I mean, you're playing at the top of the conference. So what would be your advice for young centers?
So I think centers right now aren't really being developed as they used to be because, the game of basketball has changed so much since I've even been in high school. So I think now, like, young centers who aspire to be that strong force, I think really need to work on just the basics, power dribble, step through and stuff like that. Because, of course, like now the game of basketball, everyone wants to shoot the three-pointer, but I think a really big key in basketball is having a really good center to set those screens for guards, get people open. So I think just work on, the basics.
And so now looking back through your basketball career, be it high school or even college, is there a moment that sticks out to you as your favorite moment?
Well, in high school, probably one of my favorite moments was hitting 1,000 points and 500 rebounds. And then in college, I would say there's so many different moments. Freshman year was definitely really fun. We get to go to the tournament my freshman year. But I think this year overall, there's so many good memories. Our team is so close, and I truly love everyone on our team. And I think everyone can say that.
Well, that's great. You always have to have that great team chemistry, so that's great to hear that.
Oh, wait. I actually just remembered one. Well, probably the best thing has ever happened was, I think you saw it, Katie Langdon. We had her come, and she's a part of our team now, and she made a basket against Beloit, and that was probably one of the best moments.
That was just such a special game, such a special day to have her out there, like you said.
Yes.
Just a tremendous moment. What is your preparation for games? How does that look mentally and also physically? Like, do you have a routine that you go to? What does that look like?
Yeah, so my trainer, Alyssa, will probably can say my whole routine because she works on me probably the most. I always get there around like an hour before games, and then I do heat and stem on my back, and then go in the hot tub, and then my trainer goes as hard as she can on my calves. So I think before the games, I, of course, pre-game treatment, but I just try to really just talk to everyone and just ask how everyone's doing, and then we dance and stuff in the locker room and just get into the game mode.
Can you describe your role on the team this season and how you have approached working with your teammates, with your fellow seniors, Madison Osborne and Megan Gandrup?
Yes, I think all three of us have really made a point to just really develop our team chemistry, and I think has shown. Oz, Meg, and I have all been here for, Meg came here our sophomore year, and Oz came here halfway through my freshman year. So, we've been here for a while and just trying to develop, us being close as seniors and, having that leadership chemistry to show, to build our team chemistry too.
How do you handle high pressure situations on the court? Because obviously the Rams have been in nip and tuck games this year. How do you stay focused and, take those deep breaths? What do you do to kind of calm yourself in those moments?
I talk to myself a lot in my head. Usually on the court when like the game's getting close, I'm like, I usually get like a little like angry and use that to fuel my energy on the court because, playing those long minutes, I get pretty tired at times. So to just try to hone in on that energy and that anger and really wanted to push forward. And, I really think back and like why I'm playing basketball. I want to do it for my team. So I just really try to hone in and focus.
How do you manage your time between academics and basketball? Because on the block plan, there's a lot coming at you. So how do you find that perfect balance?
I'm a big procrastinator at times, so I really just try to, have a schedule because I I have practice here and there, like from this time, I have class from this time. So just try to find that balance of I can work on my schoolwork between this time and then focus on basketball between this time. And then, there's been a couple of late nights and stuff like that, of course, on the block plan, but overall just try to balance my schedule.
That sounds great. So now, looking back at Madison Wauters in fall 2019, what would you say to her about her Cornell basketball career to come?
Oh, geez. Well, looking back in 2019, that was a whole different time. That was before COVID, too. So trying to tell my young freshman self that, your whole sophomore season is going to get canceled and, you're going to fight through a lot of adversity through, because I've had a whole different team. From freshman year to sophomore year, that was a whole different team. So I think I would just tell her, there's a lot of change to come, but you'll get through it.
So now, looking beyond your college basketball career, is there something that you want to do next year or something beyond? What are your ideas for life after Cornell?
So that is my question 24/7 right now. Well, I'm a business analytics and computer science major and minor. So I am working on applying for a lot of jobs at the moment. And, my biggest goal is to be one, secure and happy. I've played basketball and sports my entire life. So life after sports right now is a little scary, but I think I really want to somehow still be involved in sports, whether that be like helping out with coaching or whatever I have time for it. Because I think a lot of people who have graduated from Cornell can say, you never know what will be in store for the future.
For sure. And so before we have that end of a career, there's still a little bit of basketball ahead of you. So what are your expectations for the rest of the regular season and then also the conference tournament, which the Rams recently clinched a spot in?
Yes. So we are going to be pretty much full force back. You know, Anaya and Rachel are going to be back. Anaya is planning on starting on Saturday and working back towards to be all healthy for the conference tournament. So I think we're all just really excited to, you know, from the beginning of the season to now, we've had a lot of injuries. So I think we're really all excited to have a full team back.
Well, that's great. We wish you nothing but the best, and along with the team. And one final note, Madison Wauters is playing her best basketball right now. 12 out of the last 13 games, you've scored in double figures. So, a great performance by Madison down the stretch of your basketball career.
Thank you.
So, the Cornell Rams women's basketball team will conclude their home schedule for the 2022-2023 campaign on Tuesday, February 14th on senior night against the Monmouth Fighting Scots. Come out to the SAW and support the Rams. We'd love to see you there. Thank you so much to Madison Wauters for stopping by, and best of luck to her and the team for the rest of the season.
Yes, go Rams.
Let's go Rams. Thank you so much to Madison for stopping by. All right, so before we get to Jordan Magnani, let's take a quick look around the Cornell sports calendar and update you on what's going on with the different sports. For the men's tennis team, they are 3 competitions into their spring season. They host Simpson College and UW Stevens Point this upcoming Saturday in Mount Vernon, and the first match is slated to start at 9 a.m. For the men's lacrosse team, they had their season opening win at Centenary this past Saturday, 12-8. Kyle Drusilla had a great game, so Coach Zerton's Rams, nice to see them off to a 1-0 start. Friend of the program, Coach Lane Zerton from episode 3. The men's lacrosse team hosts Illinois Tech on Saturday, February 18th at 3 p.m. at Van Meter Field at Ash Park. We'd love to see you there to cheer on the men's lacrosse team here at Cornell. The women's lacrosse team, their season begins Friday, February 17th at William Penn University. The game is supposed to begin at 4 p.m. The wrestling team closed their home competition with a duel against Co this past Thursday. Gabriel Smith and Casey Allen each recorded wins in that duel. For the Rams, their final regular season duel is this upcoming Tuesday, February 14th at Augustana, beginning at 7 p.m. For the track and field programs, friend of the program Natalie McAllister set 3 more personal records in the Darren Young Invitational this past Saturday, breaking her 60-meter hurdle record once again. So congratulations to Natalie, once again taking that next step as she said she would on the Hilltop Sports Report. Haley Carolyn finished first in the high jump. And for the Rams, upcoming, they will be in the Liz Wirtz Invitational hosted by Wartburg College this upcoming Saturday, beginning at 10 a.m. Jordan Magnani is second all-time for the Rams in terms of points scored. He's 58 points behind Cooper Kabbalah for first all-time. I had a chance to sit down with Jordan Magnani and talk about his career, the season, and much more. So without further ado, let's get to my interview with Jordan Magnani. And I'm pleased to be joined inside the Academic Technology studio right now by fifth-year senior point guard of the Cornell College Rams men's basketball team, Jordan Magnani. First of all, Jordan, thank you so much for coming in this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so it was a busy weekend for the Rams. They had 2 games in 2 days. They faced Ripon on the road on Friday, and then it was a thrilling overtime win at Lawrence as we record here on Sunday afternoon. That was yesterday. So, in Saturday's game, the Rams clinched a spot in the MWC postseason tournament. So, what is your reaction, Jordan, to the 2 games from this past weekend?
We're just really excited to have clinched again for the second year in a row. As our coach always says, anything can happen in the tournament, no matter the seed. So it wasn't necessarily we wanted the number 1 seed, but we just wanted to make the tournament. And now that we've done that, we want to keep the momentum going, win these last 2 regular season games, and then carry that into the tournament.
And in Friday's game against Ripon, you moved into second place all-time in Cornell men's basketball history in terms of career points. So what has led to this magnificent career that you've had in your 5 years on the Hilltop?
It's just started out ever since I was a kid, and the work ethic that was instilled in me early from my father, my brother, and just coming here to Cornell, starting as a freshman. I wasn't really expecting to, but ended up getting put in that and then just keep getting better every year was just the main goal. And I've done that throughout my career.
Cornell's all-time leading scorer, Cooper Kabala, was your teammate for your first 4 seasons. So what impact did Cooper have on your game specifically?
He actually had a really big impact. He kind of took the pressure off me as a younger player, and then we just built the chemistry we had, and we complemented each other so well. His presence more on the inside and my presence more on the outside. Most people actually don't know we played a year of AAU basketball in our high school, so we knew each other before I came here, and then coming here, we just became really close friends. We have a great relationship. I was in his wedding, and he's helped me along the way with everything.
So you kind of alluded to it just now, but kind of talk about the bond that you two have, even though he's not on the team anymore, still see him coming to the games to cheer you on. So talk about your relationship with Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, he comes to almost every home game that he can. He supports us, still has a lot of friends on the team. Like I said, was in his wedding. Got to share that special day with him. And just the bond we have. We're going to be friends forever. And it's not just on the basketball court. And our relationship outside of basketball, that's what's made us, so great on the court. Our chemistry is everything.
And the team chemistry for the Rams this year has been really spearheaded by head coach Dave Schlaba. It was a rough start to the season, but he's really turned the ship around. So talking about Coach Schlaba specifically, why has he been so successful in his 6 years here at Cornell?
He's just kind of changed the culture of our team. Our freshman year when I was coming in was kind of his first real recruiting class. We were very young and had a couple older guys, so the mixture was just a little bit off, but he's done a really good job instilling his culture in us. And as players, we've bought into what he's telling us and what he's selling. So we've bought in and we've shown success now in the past couple years.
Who have been some important mentors in your basketball career to shape you into the second all-time leading scorer here at Cornell?
As I mentioned earlier, my dad put a ball in my hand even before I could stand up and move around. He's been coaching me ever since I could shoot a ball. My brother, too, played always in the driveway with him. Took a lot of beatings from him in the driveway, so I learned a lot from that. Those two have been the biggest, but just my family overall, my mom, my sister, all my teammates in high school, and then now in college, they've been the biggest support systems. And then obviously all the coaches I've had that have helped me get better each and every year have instilled the confidence in me that I have today.
And you mentioned your father, Jordan Magnani, who's on the coaching staff here at Cornell. That's not often that you can get coached by your father. How has that been for you throughout college in his 3 years as an assistant coach to kind of have your coach, assistant coach be your father, and how does that dynamic play out?
Yeah, it hasn't been too difficult because he's just coached me his whole life. So it's different now that he's wearing the same logo I am because he doesn't usually do that. But I mean, all the guys love him. He knows what he's talking about. He has all the experience you could ever ask for. And we don't see it as a father-son relationship on the court. He's my coach on the court, and it doesn't affect our relationship off the court at all. So, I mean, it's been a huge boost for us, having him the past couple of years.
You are the leader on this team for the Rams. How do you lead? Do you lead by example? Do you take players aside? How does your leadership play out on the court and then also off the court?
It kind of depends on the situation and then also the players. So at times, during drills, it's more leading by example, showing younger players, if you do this in a certain drill, that'll lead to this in 5-on-5 stuff. But, in games, it's a lot more vocal leadership, getting guys to realize that we can be great. And if we do certain things, we can do great things. And it just depends on the situation. I mean, take yesterday, for example, playing close game, just back and forth, just keeping guys, hey, we just keep winning possession by possession, it'll all work out, and it ended up doing that.
How have you balanced the block plan and sports throughout your career here at Cornell? Obviously, as a student athlete, you have to balance practice, but then also life on the block plan, there's a lot coming at you. So how have you found that balance?
I think the block plan has actually been really good at providing balance. I mean, your class schedule every day, what times you're going to have practice, and that makes it really easy to carve out time for either extra shooting or doing your homework. So, I mean, the block plan has given me all the necessary tools in order to be successful. I mean, it's given me time to schedule out what I need to get done and what is important to me most.
There are always moments throughout basketball games or even in practices where things kind of go sideways. So as you look back through your 5-year career here at Cornell, can you identify any moments that are just like your favorite in terms of most humorous or anything like that?
Oh, geez. Oh, probably there's this one game I don't even remember the game. It was my sophomore year. So Cooper was a junior, and we were making a comeback on a team. Again, don't remember, but they put a little guard on him for some odd reason, don't know why, and he scored like twice in a row, and he just said, "Get me the ball and get the hell out of the way." And we just thought, we didn't laugh in the game because we were trying to keep straight, but after the game we ended up winning. I remember that. We had a kick out of that for the next week. It was because that's not really Cooper's personality, so we got a kick out of that. That was funny.
Well, that's great. Do you have a favorite moment or moments on the basketball court? Obviously, last year, you alluded to this earlier, beating Ripon in 2 overtimes at their home court in the conference tournament. Was it that? Was it actually playing in the NCAA tournament? What was your favorite moment so far?
There's probably been 2. I'd say my sophomore year, we were picked 8th out of 10 teams, and we ended up making the conference tournament. So, I mean, we were the 4th seed and then ended up playing St. Norbert and gave them a run for their money the whole game. I mean, they had to fight us the whole way. And then obviously, yeah, last year, double overtime victory against Ripon. I mean, that's just a classic of a game, ended up, and then going to the national tournament. I mean, that was just an experience in itself. Played Wash U, a very good team. I mean, incredibly close until the last 7 minutes of the game. So, I mean, I'd say those 3 are definitely at the top of the list.
So from last year to this year, obviously losing Marcus Quirk and then also Cooper Kabbalah, that led to some challenges earlier on in this season, starting 3-9, but the Rams have just been on a roll since. So what do you think has been the biggest change since that rough start to just completely flipping the switch and being on fire recently?
I think guys have found their roles more. We had to play younger guys. I mean, Jaden Meeker, Zach Engel, both sophomores. They've really grown up throughout the year. I mean, it's hard coming in and trying to quote unquote replace a Cooper and Marcus, who have been in the system for 4 years, Cooper for 5. So, I mean, it was big shoes to fill, and we knew it was going to be a little rough at the beginning. Didn't know it'd be that rough, but I mean, Jaden, Zach, all the other guys playing, Isaac's stepping up and having a bigger role. All these guys have just figured out their roles, and now we're just playing more cohesively, and we're moving the ball, sharing the ball, and we're playing as a team and winning games.
The 7 other seniors, Cam as a coach, and also Brady getting in the gym and obviously being a great team player. So kind of talk about each of the players on the team in terms of the seniors and what they've brought to this Rams squad throughout their careers.
Everyone brings something different. Like you said, Cam coming in as a player and then just realizing, he wants the coaching experience. I mean, he's been so helpful helping JV guys, growing them as basketball players and then still being a part of our team. Brady comes to work every day. I mean, he pushes us and he's a great teammate. Logan Sharp, presence in the middle, has been starting now for 4 years. I mean, he's always being positive with us. Trevor has been dealing with a little bit of a knee issue this year, still just sticking with us, being a great teammate. Isaac stepping up now into a bigger role off the bench has been absolutely phenomenal in our winning streak. I mean, and then just everyone else, Jeremy, Shane, everyone contributes in their own way. I mean, pushes us in practice. Jeremy's shooting the ball well. Shane comes off, does a great job on our scout stuff. I mean, we all just contribute, and no matter who it is, no matter what age, I mean, everyone finds a way to contribute to the team.
So now, pushing this forward, the Rams, as I mentioned, clinched a spot in the tournament this past Saturday. So what are your expectations for the rest of the season, and then also now in the conference tournament?
We obviously want to win these last 2 games in the regular season, just to keep that momentum going into the conference tournament. And then, as I said earlier, anything can happen in a conference tournament. So we're going in there expecting to win 2 games and head back to the NCAA tournament.
All right, so obviously now focused on the season, but also with an eye towards the future after Cornell. What do you want to do with your life after Cornell?
I'd like to find a job still involved with sports. Don't quite know yet, don't have an official really plan or anything, but something either dealing with sports or getting a job where I'm able to still be like a part-time coach somewhere. I mean, I just really love the game, and it doesn't have to be basketball necessarily, but just something where I'm involved in sports, because sports have been a part of my life for so long.
All right. Well, that sounds great. We wish you nothing but the best for the rest of the season and then also beyond. Thank you so much for coming into the Academic Technology Studio.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So, the Cornell Rams men's basketball team will conclude their home schedule for the 2022-2023 campaign on Tuesday, February 14th against the Monmouth Fighting Scots. Come out to the SAW to support the Rams. Thank you to Jordan Magnani for stopping by, and best of luck to him and the team for the remainder of the season. Good stuff right there from Jordan Magnani. Fans want to contact the Hilltop Sports Report? Well, now you can. Email us at hilltopsportsreport@cornellcollege.edu. Once again, that's hilltopsportsreport@cornellcollege.edu with any questions or perhaps some stories. If you're a former Ram, we'd love to hear some sports-related stories from you. All right, that'll do it for this episode of the Hilltop Sports Report. Thank you so much to Madison Wauters and to Jordan Magnani for stopping by, and to you for listening in. Stay tuned to the Cornell Rams social media platforms and me on Twitter @Jumpin Jack 123 for any updates about future episodes of the Hilltop Sports Report when they will drop. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jumpin Jack Carlson, speaking on behalf of the Cornell College Rams, saying, I'll see you next time.